Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. We are now live, and today's show is going to be amazing. As you can see, we have a show booked with Miss Assata Moore, and we are going to bring her into the screen as this young lady is joining us and had to take an emergency flight. Hey, Miss Moore, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Clark?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm glad you're able to join us today. I know things are a little bit different than what we intended, but we're still glad to have you on the show. And, we wanted to hear all the amazing things that you have going on, honoring you during this Women's History Month, and just giving you your flowers while you're here. But you have some outstanding information as far as the things that you're doing with the Sankofa Club. I interviewed Freddie about I think 3 weeks ago now. It was awesome with him as well, and they were telling me I definitely had to have you as part of the show too. So if you don't mind, I know you have to get away from the show probably a little bit earlier. Hopefully you can rejoin, but if you'll just introduce yourself to the audience for me.
Yes, my name is Assata Moore, former mathematics teacher, high school principal. Love all things mathematics and STEM related. Majored in engineering at Michigan State University in mathematics. And, I just love working with Black youth. I love working with my people in particular and helping us get on a path towards respect, sovereignty, and wealth building.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, for those who didn't catch the show with Freddie, we were talking about Black history, and we talk about the people that we just celebrate over and over and over again. And Freddie likes to talk about how there's so much more to it, and so many other people that we could celebrate. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand, that you also have the understanding of the Black history, but I would say, I guess your specialty is more from the mathematics side. And there's so many things that I want to cover, but I want to let you take the helm and talk about how math is the blackest thing ever as it relates to the mathematics with the pyramids, and just give us the information you would like for us to share and like for us to know.
Absolutely. And first, let me address the importance of this. Representation matters. And it's no accident that when you look at mathematics and engineering textbooks, that they show scientists that are of European descent, mathematicians that are of European descent. Because what that says to the child or the student is that you're capable of doing this. Your people were great, and you're going to be great. And our young students do not have that. But the fact of the matter is that Europeans learned from us, especially in the areas of mathematics. And there is evidence of this. If you go back 40,000 years ago, that's a number we can't imagine as far as time because our life on Earth is so short. But if you go back 40,000 years ago in southern Africa, there's the Lamomo bone that was found that shows that people of African descent, African people, were doing mathematics over 40,000 years ago. 25,000 years ago, 15,000 years after that, in the Ishango region, there's what's called the Ishango bone that showed that Black people were doing advanced mathematical concepts, not just counting, but relationships with numbers, prime numbers, and things like that. Now, you mentioned the pyramids. It gets really exciting when you get to the pyramids up in Egypt, but that's only a few thousand years ago. So we had this long trajectory and mathematical documented proof that shows that mathematics is the blackest thing ever. It started on the continent of Africa, and others came there to learn from our ancestors how to be engineers, how to be architects. And that expands outside of mathematics and science. We're speaking philosophy, religion, and many other concepts as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so also another thing I want to say is for everybody that's listening, I know they're used to a certain format. Like I was saying, we're switching up the format. So make sure you stay tuned because we have a lot of great information we'll share later. We want to take advantage of all the time that we have with Mr. Sada right now. Like I said, due to emergency flight for everyone that's just tuning in. So stay tuned for our show sponsors. Stay tuned for the information we have to share. One thing I want to go ahead and do, though, Mr. Sada, is also talk about what you guys have coming up with the Sankofa Club this coming weekend, which is I'll put up the pepper rally, and I'll let you speak on that, and I'll also play a small video by Mr. Freddie, which explains what you guys have going on. But you guys get connected with Sankofa Club. They're raising proud Black children. They're on Facebook, and they want to educate and enrich and empower all of our students. And I think that's something that is definitely overdue. But what would you like to share with us in regards to the pep rally?
Right. And so I'll be speaking specifically on what you mentioned, the pyramids of Egypt, as well as Imhotep. And Imhotep was a doctor, an architect, and many other things. Imhotep is responsible for building the step pyramid in Saqqara, as well as the many other pyramids across Egypt. The pyramids that we're most famous, that we know most famously, are the three great pyramids, right? We call them the Great Pyramids. But those are the pyramids of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. And when you go into the Great Pyramid and you go into the King's Chamber, the dimensions of that room is a 345. Why is that significant? A 345, well, we give credit to Pythagoras for the Pythagorean theorem. But Pythagoras did not create that. He learned that out of Egypt. That was, 2,000 years before Pythagoras came along. So more evidence that the Greeks and others came and learned from people of African descent. So I'll be hitting Imhotep and the Great Pyramids, which are, an engineering, just masterpiece. It has never been able to be duplicated. The Japanese tried and they failed. And we were doing this before all of the advanced technology that we have during our current times.
Absolutely. And so I know another thing. I was reading your bio. You sent a bunch of information, and I was reading. I was like, oh man, she's into Bitcoin and into real estate and all of this stuff. And you have a long resume. So give us a little bit of your background, if you don't mind, and talk about your process of how you are where you are right now. And how you think that relates to why you're so strong about people understanding the mathematics.
Absolutely. And the background piece is important because I come from the projects on the south side of Chicago. And I say that because what is possible for me is possible for other people that look like me. And so there's not that anything is genius about me. I have the same amount of time. I just made different decisions. Okay. And so I'm no better than or no worse than anyone else. And so that's important to serve as a role model for our young people to let them know what's possible. But I went to school, public school in Chicago, went on to Michigan State to major in engineering and mathematics. And from there, I started volunteering at a school. And while I was volunteering at that school, I started teaching middle school students trigonometry, calculus, and physics concepts. And they were picking it up and doing very well at it to the point where my seventh and eighth grade students could pass the college admissions exam test in mathematics. So I
Wow.
continued on that path, and I, just went up the ranks. I never went to teacher school. I ended up being promoted until I was reached the level of principal and a district level administrator. In 2017, I retired at the age of 41, and I am an investor. I was always investing on the side since 2005, being frugal with my money, created, doing things with money so that it can grow and where I wasn't just spending it. And that was accumulating real estate, bringing in rental income, investing in stocks, and doing different things like that. In 2018, 17, shortly after I retired, I had more time and I started studying cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular. And so I've been an avid investor since that time. I probably spend on average minimum 4 hours maximum. It can get as high as 10 hours a day just studying cryptocurrency, finance, and things like that. Understanding how money works, because that's where true power is that. And so I'm investing in over 160, I think was the last count, 160 different cryptocurrencies, with Bitcoin being the largest one, Ethereum, and a number of others.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's actually sadly admitting that's something that I'm lagging in, but definitely something I want to get involved in is that cryptocurrency. And it's amazing when you hear of something and we become like, no, that's not nothing to get into, and then years later you realize you could have jumped in from the front from the very
From the
beginning.
front.
Um,
Yeah,
so
and let me just tell you this stat real quick before we move on to the next thing. The
yeah,
stock
no,
market, on average, if you get an 8% return, you're doing good, right? Bitcoin, since its inception, it came out on Halloween 2008. That's when the white paper was released. It's averaging a 200% return a year. No other asset ever in the history of mankind has performed better than Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah. And a friend of mine told me that, and I can remember his words saying, "Man, you're gonna be sorry if you don't get involved with this," you know. And it's
Wow.
like,
And you're sorry?
but you know, and it tells of the time. You know, those are things that you have to really check into and you know, understand the importance of it. And I'm glad you did that. And I was reading, like I said, I was reading the bio, and you talk about. The colleges that or I guess I don't know if it was a college or the school that I didn't even understand some of the language. You have to forgive me. You know, they were talking about the anthologies that they teach from, and then the founder of the school, how they basically mentored y'all and they taught y'all. I want our audience to hear a little bit about that. So if you don't mind sharing about that
Oh,
part.
absolutely. That's important. Absolutely. And so the founder of the school, and she's actually my adoptive mom at this point, but Dr. Fred Rivers. Dr. Fred Rivers founded Sankofa Shule in Lansing, Michigan, and this was in the late '90s, mid to late '90s. And she was adamant about teaching Black children at high levels. And so she introduced us to some of the top scholars. We had Farrakhan at one of our conferences, Dr. Malefi Asante, father of Afrocentricity, Dr. Maulana Karenga, the founder of Kwanzaa. He created Kwanzaa. We went to Egypt, we went to Ghana, we went to Senegal. We took our students to Egypt. We took them to Canada. The school was in Lansing, Michigan, near where Michigan State University is at. But these students traveled from the East Coast to the West Coast of the country, learning about who they are, their place in history. And so her teaching philosophy was based out of principles across Africa. We recited the Zulu Declaration every day, and the students remembered that whole declaration. We learned from the principles of Ghana, as far as Jiri So, Bolo So, Beni So, and So Die. And basically what that is the ways in which people learn. Okay, you start off just by memorizing things. Then you start to make connections, right? Then it becomes more advanced, and then it gets to a point where it's just automatic.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and then we would have an indaba every morning. Indaba means a very serious discussion, and so
yeah.
all
That
the
was something
teachers
I
were
was talking
required.
about.
Yeah, indaba. All the teachers were required to read every day the same book. So she would order, if we were reading, African intellectual heritage, we all had to read it. She'll assign what chapters or whatever. And then every morning before school started, we had our indaba, where the teachers met, discussed what we read, how it impacted our students, our families, our lives. And, that made us better and more, so it wasn't just about getting test scores. It was about developing ourselves personally so that we could be great for our students.
Right, right, and that's so very, very, very important. I mean, I don't think we pay enough attention to those type of things, and especially with the mathematics. Freddie has mentioned how it's just injected in us, and being black, that's just something. It just comes naturally. There's like no
Yeah.
excuse as to why we can't get something. But he told me to talk to you about that. What is your take on how we just get it, and why it shouldn't be any second thoughts about it when it comes to our genes and our past and the mathematics? What is your take on that?
I mean, let's take it from a physical standpoint. The things that they only want to attribute to us. We're great with music, with dance, with sports. Do you understand all of the calculations that go into being able to play sports? Understanding your center of gravity and how to manipulate it to increase your height. Similar to the way you have drag on an airplane and drag on your body when you're running through a football field. So we understand these things intuitively. It is natural to us. What has happened is that the school system has made us think that it's not natural to us mentally and academically. And so we've lost that connection. We still have it, it's natural, but we've lost the connection to then take it and put it on paper. To take it and be able to have a football player and say, hey, I know that the maximum height of that ball, when it reaches that maximum height, that the velocity is zero at that point, and then it's going to start decelerating along this parabolic track. Okay, so being able to speak it mathematically, that may scare them, but they know that
Right.
intuitively.
Right. And those are the things that hold us back. You know, they say knowledge is power, and when you really break it down, knowledge is power. You know, my mom and my grandmother, even my grandfather, they always told you, you know, or told me, can nobody take your mind from you. You know, when you get it in your head and you got it in your mind, absolutely nobody can take that from you. And that is the subconscious thing that they're trying to do is just take what we inherently have and not allow us to exercise those things. So, are there any tips or tricks or, you know, in the teachings and things that you say? What do you tell our youth in regards to how they need to learn something? I know repetition, like Freddie says, 5 minutes a day keeps the miseducation away. But what are your takes on that when you're teaching our students on how to really get this stuff?
Yeah, it's repetition, as Freddie said, that is key. What we do with the math curriculum, Black Math Genius, and they can find it at blackmathgenius.com. What we do with the curriculum is that one, it's advanced, so it's not teaching down to our children like they're stupid because they're highly intelligent. You have some children that are smarter than you and I put together, but they're not able to release that. And so we do things where we can take it. I was working with a 5-year-old a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Hey, can you count?" He's like, "Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, bam." That was all I needed for him to get to 4. So then I drew a square, and I said, "Find the perimeter of that square." How do you find perimeter? Add up all the sides. So he counted 1, 2, 3, 4. He now computed the perimeter. Can he count higher? I got him to count higher. He was able to count to 10. Now the sides are 2. Find the perimeter. Okay, let's find the area of that. 2 times 2. I showed him on the floor. You know how you have the square tiles on your floor because we buy them in square feet. I then had him calculate the area of the tiles on the floor. And then I took that, instead of him doing 2 times 2, I made it 2 to the second power. 2 to the second power is 4. And now this 5-year-old kid is doing exponents. So I took him from knowing how to count to adding, to finding perimeter, to finding the area of squares, and then doing exponents. And so what I'm getting at is that the connections have to be there for our young people. And how does this apply in real life? Okay, we don't really teach logarithms anymore. But if we're teaching at high levels, we're going to create students, black students, that could be the next Zuckerberg, that could be the next Elon Musk. But we're not showing them because here's what Google, the basis of Google and why Google is so important and how you're able to find all of those websites so quickly is because of logarithms and hash functions.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they understand that because computers aren't smart, they're faster than us. So then how did a computer know what to do? Because it's people that programming them and telling them what to do. And we want our children to be producers of that content, creators of that, and not just consumers, not the ones that's just on the other side using it after it has already been created. So the Black Math Genius curriculum, it exposes them to all of the different things that I just spoke to you about.
Yeah.
And it does it from an African centered standpoint. We talk about X, for the unknown. And the same thing when in algebra. You're looking for X, you're looking for the unknown. And I think that was my card it just called. So
Okay. Hey, so really quickly, shout out to my man Jason Dorsey. I have to definitely put his comment up. I'm gonna get you guys connected, but he's a guy who helped me with what we call a tech kid situation we did. I think we lost Assata, but yeah, he definitely is behind all the information that you're
yeah, I
giving.
saw his comment. So please connect us. Yes.
Yes. So we will definitely do that. But yes, go ahead, get yourself situated. I'm gonna bring in
Yeah, I'm gonna
Ford.
head to the car and I'm gonna see if I'm able to get back on, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Miss Tiffany, how are you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I appreciate you joining us. And again, for everybody that's watching, the format is a little bit different today because of emergencies that had to take place. But I would definitely want to welcome you to the show and let everybody see and hear the amazing words that you have. But thanks for joining the show. I just want to put up the flyer that I had created for you
It
and let
looks so
everybody
good.
see.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Let's see. Let me get to this information because you're doing some amazing things. So I just wanted everybody to introduce Miss Tiffany Scales, the word matician, and you're doing some awesome things. I'll let you introduce yourself, and I'll come back and I will read the bio that you have given us.
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Tiffany Scales. I am an extemporaneous speaker. My pseudonym is the Wordmatician, and much like the mathematician we just heard from, I take letters pieced together and paint images with my lips and tongues tip. I'm also a heart of service worker. I serve as the care and outreach coordinator for St. John's Downtown and a radio personality for Amazing 102.5 FM, your Do Good Through Good station. And if it has something to do with service or art, I'm probably there or supporting it. So breaking out into what the poetry looks like, I invite you to join me in taking a deep breath in and slowly exhaling, and then we go into the words. You ready for that, LeVar?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me do me a favor. I want to go ahead. I want to read your bio first, just so
Okay.
people really get a good feel. And I don't know if you can, but if you could turn your phone sideways to give us a better view of you, if you don't mind. Yes, much larger there. Okay, so it says Tiffany, the word Matician Scales, is one of the most admired performance poets in the city of Houston, recognized for her ability to discern the energy of her audience members and creating healing, one of a kind poems without any rehearsal. Tiffany has performed, hosted, and mentored through poetry nationwide. In 2018 and 2021, she was nominated for the Houston Poet Literate and released a self-titled album, Lyric, the Word Matician. Tiffany is also a couples coach, wedding officiant, and the founder of the nonprofit agencies Toiletries for Families and the Arts Advocate. In 2018, she was awarded humanitarian awards by FedEx and NBUF. If you ask Tiffany what she practices daily, she'll reply, the religion of love, and it shows in her selfless desire to help those in need. The word Matissa stepped off the stage in April 2019 as she no longer felt comfortable with claiming to be a performer. Since then, she has enhanced audiences at corporate functions and private events as well. So, I mean, that's just amazing things that you're doing. And yes, I'll release myself from the screen, give you the full screen, and we'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you. On the count of three, I want you to take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Too often we find ourselves in uncomfortable positions, literally traffic jams are leaving us in places, not to mention the hardships we face, not knowing that those were still God's grace being placed on us, to know that we are still being just. The moments of knowing that justice comes with the moments of knowing that this is a beautiful day. And being able to articulate such things allows us to bring us to a place of knowing that our exist makes us really put into perspective the fact that your existence was something we were all dependent upon, because you play a role, and if you use your position to do something productive We allow ourselves to know that we are so conducive in the process of growing. There are so many ways holding on to the things like dreams that we thought would never get out. We have to understand that it's so much better to give than receive. And if you allow yourself to give, your hands will open, your fists unclenched, and then you get to a space of exposing yourself to a placement, knowing that God's grace will always place your gifts in before you, knowing that sometimes you have to understand the control of your tongue is just so you can actually understand the beauty of knowing that a stranger told you to do a thing in relation to a state of knowing that your consciousness was required to pay attention. No longer foot the bill for ignorance because you have been indebted for far too long. And if you want to find a way to make investments, as this amazing queen has told us that she did and allowed herself to retire at such an early age so she can actually live a life of purpose, feeling purposeful, pouring into the lives of the people that we know are in this village that are doing things in person, but at a distance, just to respect people's comfort zones and safety, but still allow for a safe space for artists and individuals who need art to have that space. We understand the beauty of Sankofa, how we can learn from the past but not repeat it. So I appreciate you, the rich podcast show, and everything that Dad Chronicles is doing in this community.
All right. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
and this next piece is actually written, but I feel that outside of being an extemporaneous poet, I am.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of choppy. I think
Can you hear me?
either it's my internet connection or yours, but yeah, I can hear you. But it had just cut out shortly. But no, go ahead.
Okay. So just the aspect of creativity with Long Live the Arts being my radio show on Amazing 102.5, I highlight artists in this city, and I promise you, even with this pandemic, art has been something that has been consistent. And I just want to shout out to Breathe Poetry and We Go Live and the Taste Room and the Local Seat and the venues in this city that are doing things in person but at a distance just to respect people's comfort zones and safety, but still allow for a safe space for artists and individuals who need art to have that space. And then, of course, with right about now and the organizations that have been able to put on, these platforms where we can actually share our art in safe ways and still reach more. So I appreciate you, the Reach Podcast Show, and everything that Dad Chronicles is doing in this community. Um, but this poem is more of the understanding of service and the purpose of what you can do as a creative.
And Tiffany, do me a favor. Do me a favor. And
See,
I'm
because
hearing everything. Can you hear
wordsmiths
me?
take letters pieced together and paint images with their lips and tongue tips. They welcome their audience to vicariously experience
And guys, I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
portraits with the sole purpose of an execution to silence as each side
Guys, I'm sorry. Mom, I see you made a comment, and I think her connection was just too bad. I'm gonna see if she can join back in. I really hate that. Let's see. Join back in. It was breaking up really badly. But I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And again, We're trying to see if Miss Assata Moore can join us back. She had a family emergency last night. The show was set, but we wanted to still get her in. She was gracious enough to join us from the airport, as you can see, which is why she was so short and had to abruptly leave. But just wanted to share the information that we could in such a short time. So we allowed her to do that. And we'll definitely be bringing her back at some point in time, so that way we can really dive into a conversation and get all the things that she needs. And now we have Miss Tiffany back. Let's see. Hey, Tiffany, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. You sound much, much, much better. It was breaking up really, really, really badly, and then the signal fell out. So I think we heard most of the first poem, and the right at the end is where it got really, really, really bad. And I know
Okay.
you were thanking the different organizations, and I want to say thank you, because I did make out that you were thanking the Reach Podcast and Dad
Of
Conference
course.
we're doing. But if you can just kind of go back to that point of where you were, if you don't mind, and just like kind of start over from there, and definitely restart that second poem. And
Oh no, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm sorry about the hang up. Katie
yeah,
is
no problem.
kind of distant.
Yeah,
I was saying
and you
thank
were
you to the
saying something
venues.
about.
Local seat on Mondays.
Mhm. Yeah,
What'd
I
you
was
say?
saying you were talking about the venues, and you were saying that you appreciate people that allow the people that need art to still have art, and you were saying respecting people's boundaries, but still giving you guys a safe space to express yourself. So that's kind of where I think it got really kind of cut up. So I'll remove myself and of course give you the floor again.
Okay. Thank you, Lavar. And so as I was saying, shout out to Local Seat on Mondays, where they offer open mic for those who have a space, need a space to be safe and expressive. Wednesdays they have a virtual broadcast with Right About Now. I know that you can check out We Go Live for, I believe, Friday nights, and then on Sundays you have Breathe Poetry. Just really, really, I'm grateful, as a creative, as an aesthete, as someone who appreciates art. I'm so appreciative for the spaces that have maintained a provision, this platform that is needed for all of us, be we on the mic or those in the audience. And especially for podcasts, Consciously Tapped In has been really, really expressive with communicating with artists and creatives. But the Reach podcast, I think, is something that we can really applaud, because for one, it's powered by Dad Chronicles, which is an incredible organization that I learned about this past winter, and understanding what privilege it is to have, Black fathers in positions to encourage, empower, and educate our community about what's going on and how to celebrate us every day, not just in February, not just in March, but to celebrate us and our achievements and the accomplishments that we're doing as creators. Whether we're running businesses or being artists, it's still a business. It's still, an art of production, if you will. And so in the aspect of that, I say thank you. And since the signal was choppy, I apologize. But the poem that I was reciting was actually one I wrote in honor of people that, man, they were just blazing the trails when I hit the scene. And I've been on the scene for almost 20 years, but about halfway in, I realized that I didn't have to always just write and recite. I could actually do this extemporaneous thing and be so free. And in that time, I met incredible people like Miriam and Noah Rattler and Seven. Man, I've been aspiring to just be close to him and his creativity for almost 20 years. And so being able to share stages with him in certain spaces, and seeing him and his growth as a leader in art has just been so incredible. And so it's really exciting to see that. But this piece is definitely paying homage to much of those who have done things to pave the roads that we now tread upon. Wordsmiths take letters pieced together. They paint images with their lips and tongues tips. They welcome their audience to vicariously experience the moments they portray through verbal portraits, with the sole purpose of an execution to your silence, as each sigh enhances the delivery of the thrill and the lyrical spill running rampant in the eardrums of those present, to the point love echoes the hearts of those with no egos. As everyone knows, Miriam rocks each show she sings into her tidducks overflow, and poets like Khalid, Marcel, and Jim. Seven take the essence of hope and welcome the hopeless in with their charm and plays on words to exert their very best. And if that wasn't good enough, you have altruistic philanthropists who unclench the fists of those dying to live life less difficult than their forefathers. like Andrea Eveline. She spent several nights outside to earn the right to say, I know what it's like. You have mothers like Jacquees who never reluctantly bend their knees to the Most High. They plead for the strength they need to proceed, and afterwards they ask that we'll receive like mentors for YEP. You have obedient servants who are engulfed in their works. They capture moments that could never be rehearsed, like film phenom Katrina Lewis and photographers like Chris Crawford. You have all of these abilities to allow yourself to understand your dreams can come true if you allow yourself to speak the truth, like how we have a hometown hero within reach. He turned his back to his plan. He followed the steps ordered by another man. He sacrificed his time, opportunities they define success to be, to walk 1,800 miles to show hope could be reached. It is to him they turn when it's hope they seek. Are you Jesus? They asked when they heard him speak. And his response when asked Noah, how are your feet? Is I've got miles to walk before I sleep. I took toiletries to the house of those the government left out. I shook the shaky hand of a spouse who felt paralyzed. He felt paralyzed, weighed down, found no peace in the bottles of Crown lying on his ground, his skin soaked in with this stench of mothball scent, sweat, and tears. And for years, he stayed with me. Since then, 50,000 families have been recipients of hygiene kits, and it has been amazing that we have been able to reach 17 states and 7 countries through art. Through my heart of service, I have allowed myself to be purpose driven in my life, to serve a purpose, because I asked God not to wake me one night if I could not wake up and serve a purpose. And literally, when you allow yourself to get to a place where it's not working any other way and you just want to give it up, you realize that's the moment you let go and let God and let him prevail you to a space to realize that you needed to elevate and understand dying to yourself did not mean suicidal thoughts would be taken over you, but more so you would die to the way you thought you should do things. And let's see, that's it. Thank you
Are
for
they good?
listening.
Absolutely. That was
Yes,
good.
that's how you do it. Thank
Look, I
you.
had to wait for a second just to make sure you were done, But no, I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I've made poetry a part of my platform here on the Reach Podcast Show. Thought about the idea for Black History Month, and I've also since, huh?
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. And since then, I've decided that I'm going to definitely keep it as part of the show for some time and some time to come. But as I've been doing in the last few weeks, I've finally got a date. We're going to have a poetry night. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Black Store over in South Park off of Airport, but I talked to my guys over there today. Shout out to Randy and Lloyd over there. We're going to be doing it on April 30th, the last Friday in April. So just look out for that information. I'm definitely going to hit you firsthand. If you're in town or you're able to be a part of that, I definitely want to welcome you to the stage, and looking for some hosts and stuff. So just gather your community, and we want to see how this all pans out. Like I said, the date is the April 30th, and then all the details will be coming very, very, very soon. But definitely want you to be a part of it. And I know we met when we were doing the training on the trauma class, and we've been meaning to connect. And I just always say that we always connect and everything's divine. We
Always.
didn't make the connection back then when we were planning to, but it wasn't our plan. But I think now is definitely a time for us to do that. I want to hear more about the things that you're doing. And if you don't mind, I'm going to put up I'm gonna put up the Long Live the Arts, and just tell us a little bit more about that and things that we can expect from you from the Long Live the Arts.
Of course. So I actually started the Arts Advocate in 2008 when I learned about the school budgets in Houston being cut as far as music went. And just seeing how musicians were donating their old instruments to the schools because they understood that music was a healing factor and an attitude tamer for too many to allow them to go without that necessity. And so the Arts Advocate initially was started to help culminate and cultivate creativity in young people. But I then started hosting my own poetry shows from Secret Word Cafe to mom and pop shops throughout Houston, the Red Cat Jazz Cafe for about a year with some amazing creatives in the city. Oyaremi was my co-host, as well as a slew of other poets who have gone on to be slam poets here in the city, and won incredible awards. Um, right now, I am in my third year as a radio personality with Amazing 102.5, your Do Good Through Good station. And I initially was hosting a Sunday inspiration show, and I'm now the host of Long Live the Arts, which is the slogan for the Arts Advocate. I'm an
Okay.
advocate of creativity, and I am certified in art therapy, because I know it's necessary. I know the power of art. I know that when you put your heart in it and you keep God first, heart, it literally allows you to express yourself in a way that is safe, that is effective, and that is healing. And so anything I can do, whether you are brand spanking new and just learn to write your name, or if you're more seasoned and just want to be able to say something in a short amount of time, I'm helping in that capacity. Anything that I can do in the aspect of showing how art is included in business, the art of a podcast, the art of math, the art of service. I'm all about that. Again, like I said earlier, if it has anything to do with creativity or service, I'm in. So I'm very open and accessible. I appreciate you putting all my social media down here. It's my vanity plates on my car. If you see me, say something, because I do keep my word. I'm so grateful that God gave me the position to be the word mortician, and I know my position in life is to get the word out. So if you have something that you're proud of, I want to tell somebody. And if you have something that you're ashamed of, I want to help you forgive yourself. But anything I can do to help, I'm here for it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and much applause to you. We just have to be more mindful of our circle and our connections and things like that, because this journey was not anything that I intended to do.
Right?
I was just offered the position, and I've been blessed enough to keep it going, and it's actually growing. And you never know where it's going to take you and the people you're going to meet. And so I'm just so grateful for being in the likes of people like yourself and everyone
Thank
else
you.
who's graced the show. But I feel like there's going to be some great things that we're going to be doing in addition to the things that you've already done. So I just want to welcome you to the family of the Reach family. It's all about reaching people. There was another name for the show. I keep telling that story. I don't even remember the name before the Reach podcast show, but there was another name I was going to use, and it was taken. And so then it was just placed in me to just go with the Reach podcast show. And so that's what I try to do every week. I always say, if there's just one person that reaches out to me and lets me know that they were blessed by the guests, myself, or the poets that I've been having, that's what it's all about for me. It's just keeping the reach and expanding not only the reach of this show, but your organization, everything that you do, expanding your reach so that way we can reach many, many, many more people, and just bless everybody as a collective. So I definitely appreciate that. So is there anything I'll say in regards to women's history? You're definitely making history. No matter how small or big, I always let people know you're making history. So, is there anything that you're just extremely proud of when it comes to women history? And then, in addition to that, if there's anybody you would like to acknowledge, and what does it mean to you when it comes to women's history?
Okay. Women's history for me is an everyday celebration. Knowing that I come from strength. My mother, my grandmothers, their mothers, the endurance, the intolerable things that they had to face, so I could live a comfortable life. I truly give gratitude for the women and the children of women. I have to say I can celebrate women in everything, because even you, LeVar, I can celebrate knowing that your mother brought you to life. Seeds are planted everywhere, but it takes strength, it takes the grace of God, and it takes a lot of light and love to grow people into themselves. And so for me, women's history is not just 31 days a year, it is literally an everyday honor. And to be a woman is something I give so much greatness and so much light to, because I know that it speaks for itself. We have power, and we don't have to relinquish our power to celebrate the power of our counterparts. And I want people to know that there's no need to be bashful, there's no need to cower, there's no need to be shamed. It is literally a celebration. We are all created equal. And I speak that into existence, as opposed to ways that other people have seen things and allowed those things to be adopted. um, for me, women's history is something that we can do, just by, acknowledging the beauty before us. And when we see, the village and these little people being raised in ways that we can not pass judgment, but more so share influence and pass energy. And and lift those chins. There's that video that has just gone viral for the past couple of years where the young man turned the ball over, or they missed a shot or something, and he put his head down, and his point guard just runs up to him and picks his head up. We should do that for everybody. How they say, a real woman will help you fix your crown without telling the whole world it was crooked. And that's so essential, because there's no need to pass shame or to embarrass anybody, but to elevate yourself. And with my coaching, I do that for individuals and couples. But I have a practice that's called mirror time. And if you'll hit me up, I promise I'll explain that more. But in detail, it's just a sense of reflection and knowing that once you're in a position to see yourself and celebrate you, then it's not a history that you have to hold fast to. It's literally a daily, proactive act of doing things that are conducive. But this is not separate of men. This is not, oh, well, men don't get celebrated. No, we celebrate self. We celebrate our existence. And I don't need a day to do it. I don't need a month to do it. I do it daily. I appreciate what I see, what I do, what I am. And I celebrate that I see in those around me, which we would call namaste. As far as shout outs, there is this incredible individual that I have come into contact with since this summer, who has a testimony, LeVar, that is just so impeccable. If you go to my YouTube, youtube.com/wordmatician, you'll see him. It says The Art of History, Calvin Wilson. And he gives his testimony about his experience since Harvey and the hardships he faced. He never lost his faith. And what's even more amazing is he has this company called Ever Grateful Creations. I think you would have him on your show and really have a great time. Just celebrating the nostalgia of creativity and men in power and business. But he has this company, Ever Grateful Creations, and I'm actually wearing a prototype of his design, I believe. And it's a cross, but it's typography, and it says "I believe" in cursive. And he has other products, cups, mugs, t-shirts, sweaters, pretty much anything for those who believe, who want to, show outwardly that they're proud of how God is good to them. But I love supporting and celebrating businesses, because that means that you had a good idea that you believed in and you put forth the efforts, and now your gifts have made room for you. And so this is something I cherish, this necklace. And if you want to know more about it, let them know that you saw this interview on the Reach podcast show with the Wormatician, and you want to know how to get this necklace, because it is amazing. And he even has products that are more masculine for men, wood looking crosses that say "I believe," and they're adjustable for children. And I know that God is definitely something that needs to be present in a lot of our lives. And for those who don't believe that, let it be love. Love is the religion I practice. But for me, I keep God first. And so if you do and you want to have, anything, this is something you can definitely use for whatever you do believe, because it's replication of faith in something good, something positive. And so if I can help you connect to somebody, please let me know. And if you have a need that I can help you meet, please let me help you.
Absolutely. And so everyone can see right now, it's been scrolling, it's still scrolling. Please go and follow Miss Wordmatician, Miss Tiffany Scales, and follow her on her social media. And you see how it's spelled right there, at WRDMTCN. Go and follow her and stay attached. And my mom is saying, and I love her. She is definitely my queen. I can't trick her to get on the show. So you know what? I'm gonna do this right now. This entire month, and of course, like you're saying, just my whole life. I just give her so much respect
That
in
is so
regards,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yes.
just being the person that she is and having the heart that she has. So, Mom, I love you. I know you're watching this right now,
Woo.
and
Got me
get
in
my
tears.
sympathy.
Yes, ma'am, Miss
Yeah, I can't have
Montgomery.
her crying on my show. So it says, all praise to God and all due respect. LeVar is persistent and passionate about his movement. Um, he pushed to bring himself up. He's the intelligent one. When I grow up, I want to be like him. So anyway,
Man, take a
yeah,
deep breath on that, LeVar. Take a deep breath. Because it's not
yeah,
easy
you
to be
gotta
celebrated
embrace
publicly,
those
but when
moments.
you have that blessing, that is amazing. God bless you and your mama and that relationship.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. Like I have tears in my eyes. Like that was beautiful.
yeah, she's everything. She's definitely everything. And I definitely appreciate you, Mom, and I thank you. But Tiffany, so Do you happen to have another piece that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
Oh, I'd be honored.
Okay.
What's really fun
Wait, hold.
is if you'll
You broke up again. I'm sorry.
do it with me.
Wait, we couldn't
So
hear
let
you.
me
What did you say?
get my hands free.
Okay.
Hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we
Hey,
didn't catch
with me in
anything
this
you were
one.
saying. Tiffany, can you hear me?
I said I need you to participate with me.
Okay. So here's what I want to do, though, if you don't mind. If you have a few more minutes, what I want to do is take a pause and shout out to all my show sponsors. There's a couple videos I like to play, and then I'd like to end the show with what you have awaiting for us. Is that okay? I think she might have froze up again. All right. So, guys, we're going to wait for her to join back in. And in doing so, what I want to do is I want to just take, like I said, the show was going to be a little bit different format today, and so now is the time where I'd like to thank all of my show sponsors, and we'll do that as we wait on Miss Tiffany to come back in. So the show is definitely sponsored by Dad Chronicles, which is my organization, and you know we just go to the website. The website is going to be updated with all the current things that we have going on. Number one, I want to talk about the hiring initiative for all the youth out there right now through our Chick-fil-A, and let them know that they can just go to the website, then they can log in and get first dibs, on actually getting the job. And Tiffany, I see you. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and then I'll bring you back in just a moment, letting you get your connection back correct. But yes, so Dad Chronicles, the Reach Podcast Show, definitely powered by Dad Chronicles and all the things that we're doing in the community. And I just like to share that we have the career opportunities. When you go to the website, go to career opportunities, click on the application, fill that out, and then click activate your mentor, because that is something that you definitely want to do. Also, keep an eye out for the shoe fundraiser that we're doing. It's going to be a spring cleaning challenge for everybody who has gently worn shoes, used shoes, new shoes, anything that you want to give away. We're going to be impacting the community and communities abroad here coming very soon. It's going to start officially on April 1st through the end of May. So guys, keep in contact with us. You'll see the information coming out, but we're going to have a shoe fundraiser. It doesn't cost you anything. We're challenging everybody to get clean, be clean out your closets. It's springtime now. I know everybody's looking for those new outfits, and your shoe game is definitely going to be different. So hold on to those shoes. Hold on. It could be any type, for babies all the way up to adults, men and women, high shoes, flip flops, whatever the case may be, Crocs, dress shoes. And those are going to be used to bless other communities and help them to establish themselves in a way that we actually do on a day-to-day basis, but it's something that we take for granted. There are so many communities out here that don't just have the simple blessing of shoes. So we're going to use the shoe fundraisers to make a bigger impact in the community. So just spread the word. You'll see the info being put up soon, but just go ahead and start collecting those for us. So those gently worn, used, and brand new shoes is what we're going to be doing. And again, I talked about the Poetry Night. Poetry Night's coming up April 30th at the Black Store, sponsored by the Reach Podcast Show and Dad Chronicles. And Tiffany, I see you again. Give me a thumbs up, Tiff, if you can hear me and everything, because I'm watching you in the virtual studio in the back. So let's go ahead and get into all of the show sponsors.
This is Kivia Jones of the Executive Suite. The Executive Suite is a natural skincare and body care product line. Each of our products are created with your overall self-care, health, and wellness in mind. We definitely believe in plants over pills because cannabis has saved each of our lives. And if you are listening to the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis, it could possibly change yours too.
If you haven't been to the Black Store Beauty Supply Experience, this is a personal invitation to come experience the best customer service at a beauty supply store. bringing you all the beauty brands that you know and love. But most importantly, we support more than 70 local Black-owned brands in the state of Texas and Louisiana. Like having access to a Black-owned pop-up shop 7 days a week. For the ladies who love to pamper themselves, please come experience our nail salon and spa. For the fellas, y'all can look forward to a barbershop coming soon. We'll have our own personal man cave back here. And for those who have a thing for agriculture, we definitely want you to come visit our backyard where you can find our community garden. Thanks for tuning in to the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. Y'all enjoy this great content.
And again, that's where we're going to have the... Wait, hello, Tiff. I see you talking. Go ahead. What did you want to say, sweetie?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, they're doing their thing over there at the Black Store, and I can't wait to just, see the things that we're planning to come to fruition. But we have a couple more things that I want to share. So let's get into it. And this is for our guest who just had to get off, Miss Assata Moore. This is her better half with the Sankofa Club. This is Mr. Freddie, and what it relates to is what we were talking about earlier. You guys, they have a pepper rally coming up this weekend. Let me get this on the screen. Uh-oh. Y'all excuse me. They have a pepper rally coming up this weekend. And so the information is right here, Sankofa Club. And as you can see, /the reach. And these guys are just doing some awesome things with the kids, but also want to make sure we share the video and hear from Mr. Freddie.
Look, let me be honest with you for a second here. And you and I both know this to be true. The Western educational system has nothing planned good for your children. They're just feeding them lies and misinformation that is defeating their self-confidence and putting a cap on their capabilities. It's time for you to get out of the passenger seat of your children's education and get into the driver's seat. Like, let's undo the miseducation that's being put on our babies now. It's time for you to stop the miseducation of your children right now. I want you to realize something, right? So we were doing some research and we found that there are some studies by the Smithsonian Museum and Stanford University that prove that children who grow up with their history and their culture and a strong appreciation for their people and their contributions to humanity have a higher sense of self-confidence, but this self-confidence goes on to allow them to perform better in schools, even post-secondary schooling. This allows them to carry over and perform better in their jobs, in their profession. They tend to go further. They're better fathers. They're better mothers. They're better family members. They're better aunts. They're better cousins. They're better uncles. And in addition to all of that, they become more useful to their community and their people. And this is what we desire inside of our children. It's time for you to stop the miseducation of your children. Join us today at the Sankofa Club, where you're going to gain instant access to activities and worksheets and daily Black history classes that are going to undo the lies of the Western educational system and unleash the confidence of your young people in order for them to go out and change the world. They can be the change that we all desire to see in the world. Take us up on our 99-cent trial for you to get a peek inside of the Sankofa Club. We know that once you do this, you're going to absolutely love what we have. I'm going to see you on the inside.
So guys, you definitely go and sign up at the Sankofa Club and get to be a part of that. Also pay attention to the pep rally, leaving that information here up on the screen. But shout out to Mr. Freddie and Miss Assata. I hate she couldn't get back joined in with us, but like I said, definitely had some things she need to take care of personally. So we definitely understand that. And before we finish, I also want to give a huge shout out to my guest from a couple weeks ago. And it's the Hello Black Man company. So they have a video as well I'd like to share.
Hello, Black Man. This guided journal is being made available to build character, confidence, and define the inner person.
It has been deemed clear that our culture and our past has hindered Black men from being open and vulnerable. Hello, Black Man.
Hello, Black Man.
Shout out to my man, Mr. Jamie Jenkins and Miss Calicia over there at the Hello Black Man. As you can see, they sent us our books this week, and Landon was just excited to get it. But not only do they have the Hello Black Man, they have Hello Black Woman, Hello Black Teen, Hello Black Child, Hello Black Entrepreneur, Hello Black First Responder, and then even if you're not Black, they have the journal for you as well. But it's also about just taking a pause. We don't pause enough, and take times with ourselves. And it gives you the opportunity to ask yourself some questions. The saying goes that you can lie to me, but you can't lie to yourself, is what I think about when it comes to this book. You really have to just sit and think, thought-provoking questions and things that they have in that book. But it's really designed to where you can probably understand yourself a whole lot better, and also pass on some type of legacy to the family, because we don't sit and talk as family members anymore. We don't, do the things that would make us greater as a people. So I really, really, really stand behind this whole deal that they're doing with the Hello Black Man journals that they do. And they call it the Journey Journal. And so, Mom, I see you saying, she said, yes, Hello Black Man. And I have your book, Hello Black Woman, is going to be on your bed when you get off today. So you'll definitely have that. And shout out to the people who have been locked in. Coach Brown, I see you, brother. And also want to take this moment too, man, just shout out to a few people. Our man, Coach Smith, Coach Charles Smith, today is his birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to you, brother. You're an amazing father. And so I want to take this moment to highlight you and just, just say thank you for, all the years that you've been a coach and giving back to our youth and the amazing sons that you have. Zay Smith is staying connected. He's working some things out with us and the things that we do. But you have an awesome family, and definitely shout out to the person that keeps you in check, and that's Coach Sin. Shout out to Coach Cynthia and, all the things that she does, putting up with your big head, brother. But happy birthday to you, man. And I hope you're enjoying your day and you have a very blessed day, man, and keep doing the things that you're doing. But and lastly, with the show sponsors, the World Youth Foundation, man, this is an organization that I'm an executive in, a team lead and a volunteer, and we do so many different things. And when it comes to the kids, every second Saturday of the month, we put on a workshop to where they go and I call it now, I just put it in short, expose and impose. We expose them to opportunities and we impose the things that we know are going to make them greater later in life. And so this video is just in contribute to that. that is the World Youth Foundation. Man, we do so many amazing things when it comes to community service throughout the city. We're definitely part of it. We're the heartbeat and the heart drive behind that. And so we definitely want to pay homage to them. And none other than my people over at the Joseph Consulting Firm. Man, when I tell you this team right here just shows love every week, week in and week out, definitely want you guys to go and follow them. If you have a business plan or you have business needs that you have, definitely go and see my girl, Miss Candace Joseph, over at the Joseph Consulting Firm, and allow her and her team to help you with anything that you're trying to do business-wise. You know, whether it's marketing, whether it's from the start, the concept to the finish, they got you over there, because it definitely got me and so many others that I know of. So I appreciate you guys over at the Joseph Consulting Firm for doing the things that you do week in and week out for the Reach Podcast Show and also Dad Chronicles. So definitely greatly appreciate it. So that is the Joseph Consulting Firm. Let's see. It says, hats off to Miss Carrington and all the volunteers and her team members. Yep, that's right. Over at the World Youth Foundation. I'm gonna bring you back in. So you got everything set, and
Yeah.
so welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming back to bless us. But the other thing I wanted to do comes to the World Youth Foundation, just wanted to share a few pictures and thank the people. So we also have what we call the Joy of Giving Life program, where we go out into the community, we go to different vendors as far as Whole Foods, and they make generous donations that we in turn we send into the community and bless people in return, you know, and may not see it all the time, but when I tell you we have tons and tons of people, cars lined up for days, this is just what happens. And so it's such a wonderful impact to see the things that happens from week to week, and to be able to be part of those things is even better. So just wanted to make sure that we talk about those things, and those are the stories that we try to tell from week to week. But let's see here. Again, thank you for coming back on, Tiffany. And just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. And I think I did catch everyone. So, yeah, welcome back. And we want to experience the things that you were looking to share with us at this point.
Can you hear me?
Not sure. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. So,
Oh, wait, connection. All right, you're back. You're going to give it a second and see. It's good right now. Not sure how long it's going to stay.
yes.
Yeah, you're good right now.
Okay. Okay, LeVar, do me a favor on the count of 3. I want you to take a deep breath in, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath in. And slowly exhale. Pick a number 1 through 10.
Got it.
Give me that many words. Not a sentence, but just words.
So give you that many words.
Yes.
Okay. Faith, obedience, determination, trust, love, courage, sacrifice. Number of 7 for completion. Write that down.
If men can... Mom, what? LeVar?
What'd you say?
What's the last thing you said?
Courage.
Okay. Can you mute your phone?
Yep.
If there was a book for the tools needed to be the strength of a man, you would understand how abilities to allow yourself to realize that the dedication required was just to aspire to be greater later, to understand that the whole factors of life, to know that it was just simply put that 7 was the grace of knowing that, see, you would get to a great place because the upteen numbers of times that you have allowed yourself to rise, you realize that falling down was never something to worry about, because as long as you kept your head up, kept your eyes up, kept your focus heightened to a place to know that he would always help you rise like yeast, we allow ourselves to realize that we have always been tested, but never have the brethren ever fallen short of the victory, to know that your faith is required. Now, sometimes you might feel tired, and that's fine. Those are the instances where you should take rest, not feel like you were supposed to continue pound past of empty cup, but get to a space to realize that your cup will run over when you allow yourself to overcome the process of growing. See, this process is not necessarily knowing all of the answers in the beginning, because then what would you be looking for? But it's not until you stop looking that you see that the evidence that is made clear, to realize that he has always been carrying you anyway. Your footprints were always washed away from the tears of those who have cried for you, but not knowing that the bended knee of your mother, your grandmother, and all those who came before you was just to put you in position, because even as your mama mentioned, she knew your cover, your number would be 7. She knew your covering was already going to be clear, but sometimes we still can't see past the fear, the false evidence appearing real, to realize that courage is something that is instilled. Those moments where you believe that you can do anything is literally because 413 told you you could. And when you allow yourself to let the word apply, you realize that you can fly. There's no reason to ever have to think about planes taking off. And if your mask was put on, but this pandemic has taught you the requirement of covering yourself enough to realize that you should always protect the thing that uses the most power, the words that you speak. Now you are empowered. You allow yourself to understand the dedication that you need to get through life, to proceed as a man, as a father, as a being, as black, as light, as love, as knowing that you are needed. And that necessary dedication, knowing that sometimes it's just the factors of realizing that love and hope and trust and commitment and desires are the things that we have all been instilled with, but so often we forget them because we fail to do the reflection. Get in front of the mirror, LeVar, and see you. See your mama's eyes, see your daddy's nose, see all those who had something to do with how you would grow, even the absence. Know that sometimes it literally takes something missing for you to fill a position, and even more so, how you can claim the favor of God's grace, and knowing that you can believe too, that no longer how far you go, you will always become too something so most becoming, because you understand the notion of realizing that you carry the name of someone who shall never be taken in vain, just as your faith. You understand the beauty of knowing that your strength was depicted in the same sense of those times that seemed too hard to get through, but you overcame. And even since you have allowed yourself to realize that your testimony was some kind of way going to give somebody else the encouragement they needed to get through their day, and that is a testimony. See, your reach outreaches, and your outreach will too. And I believe in the same sense of knowing that the chronological order of that chronicles will still show you your growth, and how you are able to pass hold. Your shoulders no longer bear the boulders of the life that you have lived, but more so the testament of the things that were always meant to bring you closer to him. Thank you for letting me on your show.
I'm just clapping and you can't hear me. I had to take myself off mute, man. That was beautiful. And everything that you shared
Thank
today
you.
has been just the same. I mean, absolutely beautiful. You got my mom probably crying over there. She's like, that was awesome, beautiful. Yeah, she definitely appreciates
Thank
that
you.
as well as I know I do. And I mean, we definitely have to connect. And like I've been telling everybody, definitely want you to come back. I'm just saying, if they want to come back, I definitely want you to come back, because this is part of the show and segments that we're going to keep on going. And
Thank you.
really to have you back on the show. And we'll talk a little bit more offline. There was something, I don't know if you can remember, you told me to remind you of. You mentioned it. It'll come back to me. We definitely want to talk to you about that. But is there any last word that you want to say to the audience to be aware of?
Well, if you're in Houston, Texas, and affected by the pandemic, you can come by St. John's downtown to pick up necessities. We currently are redoing rebuilding our gym. We actually were we sustained a fire, and a lot of our products were destroyed. And so if you could keep our church and our team in prayer as we continue to rebuild and revamp the plan to reestablish how we're going to continue this distribution. We've been doing this work for over 30 years as a church community. But if you have a need while we're waiting for that to be resolved, still hit me up. I promise. I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and I operate in those 6 degrees every day to make sure that I can help you get to what you need. Um, if you need radio advertisements, it should always be on Amazing 102.5, your Do Good Through Good station. And if you need tips, tools on how to communicate effectively, how to translate your emotions in a safe way, or how to enhance your intimacy, call me 469-431-LOVE for Mary and Tiffany. And that literally is how I'm helping individuals and couples process through relationships, whether you want to stay together or if you need an amicable way to get out. Outside of that, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely. And you also bring people together. I didn't realize you're a wedding officiant, that's something else you had in the bio. Can you hear me? Yep. Awesome.
Oh yeah, I love maintaining their choice of.
Yeah, absolutely. And so lastly, on that note, in the aspect of love, I like to shout out to my kinfolk from Montgomery and Nancy Montgomery. Today they celebrate 21 years of marriage. So I definitely want to make sure I shout that out. Beautiful Black couple who's been holding it down. We know our ups and downs, but today is the 21st anniversary, and it's definitely something to celebrate. He's a little bit younger than me, and the fact that he's been married 21 years is just amazing within itself. So definitely want to shout out to them. I know they're doing something probably this weekend. So I'll see you guys soon. We'll celebrate. And again, I definitely want to put this one more time, Miss Tiffany, and just again, thank you for coming on the show and celebrating with us and giving us the encouragement that we need, because I know it definitely spoke to my heart. And you guys just, appreciate or at least respect the love for the arts, because it is definitely something that I've grown to know and understand is definitely needed in any aspect. And so if you guys want to stay connected with her, I'll put her information back up once again. And we can do this anytime, Tiffany. Whenever you're ready, you just let me know.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm going to get with you on a couple of things. I want your help and advice with too. So we'll be definitely talking soon. But guys, this has been the Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. Check the comments one more time. Make sure we shout out to everybody who's been tuned in. The Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. Beyond the ears of the listeners. We appreciate you guys staying tuned. Come back and see us next week. And the show lined up for you. Poets. So go out, be blessed, and be absolutely what you can do. Appreciate you.